Washington mornings on the Mall. 105.9 FM. And AM 630. WMAL.
6:37 on WMAL. At 7:07, we'll pick up the conversation about women in combat. We'll go back to talk about Benghazi in the 8 o'clock hour. Also at 8:05, Lawrence Wright's written an interesting book about Scientology. It's raising a few eyebrows. And Stuart Varney from the Fox Business Network will join us at 7:35. Brian Wilson and Larry O'Connor.
With all due respect, the fact is we had 4 dead Americans. Was it because of a protest, or was it because of guys out for a walk one night who decided they'd go kill some Americans? What difference at this point does it make? It is our job to figure out what happened and do everything we can to prevent it from ever happening again, Senator.
Lanny Davis, former Clinton White House Counsel. Lanny, thanks for joining us. Of course, Lanny, I always like to start out with an agreement between the two of us, and I know that we agree on something. You had said last time you were on that you are really hoping that your friend Hillary does not run for president in 2016.
I agree.
And we all agree on that. So here's our kumbaya moment. We all agree with you, Lanny. However, we have to ask you about yesterday's testimony. She is still Secretary of State. She finally came in front of Congress to answer questions about what happened in Benghazi, and that moment, I think, has really raised the ire of a lot of people, because doesn't it make a difference, Lanny? I mean, it does make a difference that these 4 brave Americans were killed by a terrorist attack instigated by an al-Qaeda-affiliated group, but we were told that it wasn't. We were told that this was a result of a YouTube video and a protest over that. And it was in the middle of a presidential campaign, and the American people were lied to, and that does matter, doesn't it?
Well, it matters that you use a false word that you know is false, which is a lie. So
I don't think it's a false word.
But you shouldn't lie while accusing somebody else of lying. You know that the CIA reported exactly what Susan Rice and the president and everybody thought was true.
But hold on, Lanny, you can't have it.
Use the word lie.
No. Lanny, you can't have it both ways, because Hillary Clinton said yesterday in her testimony that she knew it was a terrorist attack, and she called it a terrorist attack the very next day, the day after the attack. So she knew it was a terrorist attack, and so I don't care what the CIA said. That was not the message we got from the White House, from the State Department, or from the UN ambassador. So it is a lie.
CIA, are you blaming the CIA for lying? Because if you are, say it, but rather than impugn to somebody else what they repeated verbatim, what the CIA gave them to say.
So when did the Secretary of State misspeak the truth then? Yesterday, when she said that she knew immediately that it was a terrorist attack, or back in September when she said that it was because of a YouTube video?
The terrorist attack occurred during the day. The report that was written that everybody praised to this day doesn't know when the spontaneity that the CIA used the word spontaneous. Let's all say this together. CIA.
I'll give you another 3 initials. CIA.
Confusing as of today, when the spontaneity was taken over by terrorists.
All right, okay, fair enough, Lanny. But look.
But her point is, what's the difference today arguing about that when we're talking?
Well, because I think the American people expect the truth when their leaders speak to them. And here's the larger question, Lanny. Here's the larger question. Allow me just a moment, please, to ask a question.
Correctly, then that they intentionally.
I want to ask a question, Lanny, and this is what I've got to know. Even if we accept your argument, the Secretary of State testified yesterday that going on the Sunday talk shows, it's just not her favorite thing to do. That she has other things that she would prefer to do on a Sunday. That she can't, on the days after a U.S. ambassador and other Americans are killed in Benghazi, she can't be bothered to go over to Nebraska Avenue, a few blocks from where she lives, and speak to the American people on the Sunday talk shows about what has just happened in Benghazi. How do you defend that?
You know, what's really unusual about this conversation, and of course you guys are entitled to your opinions, I just think the word lie is out of bounds.
But you don't answer my question.
But the answer is that Hillary Clinton has not done Sunday shows since she's been Secretary of State. That simply had not been her practice.
Well, no, I'm sorry, Lanny. She did it on October. I'm sorry, Lanny. We got to correct the record, and I'm sure that you're not lying about this. You just don't know the facts. October 23rd, 2011, as Secretary of State, she appeared on Meet the Press to do a victory lap because Muammar Gaddafi had just been killed, and she was there to trumpet the great success of the Secretary of State and the President.
as I was saying, she rarely does shows.
Rarely,
and
yes.
I was doing an and when you interrupted slightly, and the and is she was grieving for the loss of a very dear friend named Chris Stevens. And I think at that point in time, the White House chose Susan Rice, but she was not avoiding repeating. I don't know why do you guys ignore the fact that the CIA wrote these talking points?
And somebody, by the way, removed references to Al Qaeda from those talking points.
Lying. Let's have it right now. Are you accusing the CIA of lying because they wrote the words spontaneous demonstration? Yes or no?
Well, you're using this as a fig leaf, Lanny, just because
No,
that
but
happened
come
to
on,
be
answer
there.
my
There was a
question.
lot of other
you
information, and
accusing the CIA of lying?
we are told that those talking points were modified.
Modified, and she doesn't know anything about who did that.
The modification was changing the word diplomatic address to post. The modification was immaterial to the word spontaneous. The word spontaneous was not modified. So let me ask again, guys, are you accusing the CIA all the way up to the National Intelligence Director of lying?
No,
Yes
I'm accusing the Secretary of State and the White House of cherry picking what they wanted to pull out of
Not
those talking
cherry-picking.
points. Yes,
The
exactly,
Secretary
because there was a
was not
lot of
cherry-picking.
information in those CIA reports, Lanny. There was.
That's right. In any case, let me at least end this wonderful conversation, good morning, by saying that I no longer think she should run for president. Aside from you guys on this program, the universality of praise of how Hillary Clinton did yesterday.
I know.
They're probably the only voices on the air this morning that are criticizing an amazing performance by Hillary Clinton. I think she should run for president. Change my mind.
You know what, Lanny? Thank you. You just gave us a great soundbite that we will, because that is the greatest endorsement of this show and this station that we could ever get. You're right. We are the only ones saying this, and that's why we need to be here.
At least be equal and call the CIA liars if you're accusing Hillary Clinton of being a liar.
I think on that note, we'll just end this conversation.
Hey,
Lanny,
thanks,
thank
Lanny.
you
It
so
really
much for
is
coming
always
in.
good to have you.